Hates fog and mist. With bad eyesight, he has trouble making out shapes, and it's a major fight just to keep going. Grönholm's other battle was with Richard Burns, but the Englishman was fighting steering and gearbox problems when he overshot a bend on stage 18, virtually handing third place to Grönholm.
You're just 13 seconds ahead. Do you think that's going to be enough?
Of course, I have to try to push hard and try to do my best and no mistakes, whatever. I think it should be.
At the start of the final day, the tension was tangible. Sainz failing to get a good morning from Mäkinen.
Hola.
Rocks flying and rubber burning, Mäkinen showed Sainz a muddy set of heels as he launched off the line. It's always harder defending the lead than fighting to take it, and Mäkinen knew it. 2 minutes later, Sainz pulled onto the launch pad. In an instant, it was clear that Sainz was on a mission to beat Mäkinen. Cutting corners to save time sent the crowd wild. Sainz was now 0.3 of a second ahead of Mäkinen with one stage left. Inspired by the moment, third place Grönholm too blasted onto the penultimate stage, ending up 0.3 of a second faster than Burns. The rivalry was in the service area as much as on the stage. In Sweden, he'd thrown away his lead on the last stage. This time, Mäkinen couldn't afford to throw away another 10 points. Sainz and Lewis Moyer didn't put a foot wrong. But Mäkinen cut the corners so much that he'd flung boulders into the path of the Ford. And in his desperation, Sainz had slid wide. Time was running out. Mäkinen crossed the line, not knowing if he'd done enough to win.
Ei me siitä pystytä mitään. No en tiedä miten meni, mutta yritin. Hyvin tuli. 2 kertaa löi vaan.
But Sainz risked everything. It would be better to crash in search of 10 points than slow down for 6. But when Sainz's time came through, it was not enough. Mäkinen was the winner.
Last 3 years I haven't got any result here. Very bad performance, very bad results, and finally we got the lead from the start, and we were leading most of the time.
Really taking high risk in first stage. We managed to come back to Tommy, and we continue in the last stage. Maybe pushing a little bit too hard at the beginning, coming wide a couple of times, and then Tommy was really cutting every single vein and putting huge stones on the road.
So 8.6 seconds, the final gap from Mäkinen to Carlos Sainz. Grönholm takes third from Burns by half a minute, Delacour fifth, and Alistair McRae sixth. Mäkinen's now 4 points clear in the drivers' table from Sainz. What a difference a few weeks makes as the series moves across the Iberian Peninsula to the sun, sights and stages of Catalonia. Six stages a day, starting in the foothills of the Pyrenees around Lloret de Mar. With 4 finishes from the last 4 trips here, Mäkinen would be happy with a 5th score this year. Carlos Sainz is the most popular sportsman in Spain. Twice he's delighted the fans and won the Rally of Catalonia. On the eve of the rally, Citroen's Jesus Puras was accused of illegally wrecking the stages. So when he took the lead after stage 2, a lot of eyebrows were raised. Gear selection problems slowed Richard Burns. The Subaru kept jumping out of gear and Burns was close to losing a minute. On one of the fastest places on the rally, Petter Solberg lost control of his Impreza. Teammate Bulgalski was on the move, but Puras was still in the lead, and now by 5 seconds. But back at service, his speed was still being questioned.
Yes, well, I think it's clear the FIA, after discussing, after showing everything, after speaking with them, they have decided that there was nothing, absolutely nothing illegal on my notes, any illegal thing on the practice, and that's it.
Oriol lost time on the gravel at the edge of the road, but second place was safe. Gilles Panizzi, winner of the 2 other tarmac events for Peugeot, was 4th overall. Stage 5 proved to be a giant killer. A third of the way in, Marcus Grönholm clipped a rock with his rear wheel. Game over. His title hopes were now looking more than rocky. Even after a puncture, Philippe Bulgalski moved to 3rd overall. Dirty fuel had blocked the pipes in Ford number 4. For the 4th rally in a row, McRae was going home early.
I've been taking a lot of risks on the first stages, but most of it has been in the last 2 stages. I think I've gone totally flat out. I think we have 1 or 2 punctures at the end of the stages, and Michelin tires have worked perfectly well in this situation, and well, I think I could not go faster really in the last 2 stages.
By day 2, it was turning into a Citroën civil war. Bulgalski had charged up the order to challenge for the lead. Puras pushed hard, but the rough roads had taken the edge off his tyres. Bulgalski was pushing hard too. Puras still led, but now the gap was down to 7 seconds. To add to the action, Oriol was only 12 seconds off Bulgalski in 3rd. Seventh overall in the Ford Focus was Carlos Sainz. But Puras was soon in trouble. His Citroën finally grinding to a halt on the road section. At least the controversy was over, and Bulgalski now led.
Tomorrow I drive very fast, but no maximum attack, but I sure flat out, yes.
The question now, could Bulgalski hold off Oriol? Oriol sensed the chance to win his first rally since China in 1999, but he almost pushed too hard. On board, you can see how close he comes to ramming the rock face. Panizzi too was on a charge. Bulgalski was under attack. But Bulgalski's Citroën developed clutch problems. Roadside repairs delayed the Frenchman, earning him a 2-minute time penalty. With Bulgalski delayed, Oriol had taken position first on the road and the overall lead of the rally. When Bulgalski did start, it was from behind the line, a mistake which earned him another 2-minute time penalty.
Droite à fond, ouvre et ferme, 93 ouvre. 93 ouvre, plus droite 124.
With the man called Boog now out of contention, Peugeot were heading for a 1-2 with Panizzi the runner-up. Riding the roads like a bucking bronco, Tommy Mäkinen climbed to third. Cheers for Carlos Sainz, but he needed more than people power. He was losing the battle for fifth. But with his teammate in front of him, François Delacour knew there was little point trying to pass Sainz. Fast Freddie Loix looked comfortable fifth. With a skill born on the Belgian black stuff, he felt just at home in Spain. Citroën had been strong in their debut with the Zara, but not strong enough. The last page of pace notes, the last few corners, Didier Oriol reaches the end of the last stage, the winner of the Catalunya Rally.
16:40.3.
Back at base, genuine pleasure for the veteran.
Maybe we are a little bit lucky because Philippe Bulgalski was quite very fast. But still it's a race. I lost a lot of race like that, you know, in the finish of one race. But I think what is very important is the fiability of the car. I mean, I have to do absolutely nothing with the car. You know, it's really a sort of magic car. You know, you just put a whole driver in the car and you win. So.
So this is how they finished. Oriol first by 23 seconds from Panizzi. Third and looking more and more the hot favourite for a fifth world title, Tommy Mäkinen. For round 5, the World Rally Championship headed south for the only Latin American event of the year. Rally Argentina provides some of the toughest and most spectacular challenges of the season. High altitudes, rough stages and 60 deep water splashes all take their toll on man and machine. The rally's based in Cordoba on the bridge between the plains and the mighty Andes, almost 390 kilometers of special stages. Tommy Mäkinen got the worst of the fog at the start of day one. In a seat specially modified and a stash of painkillers, Sainz fought off the effects of back pain to bravely attack the Argentine stages. Didier Oriol's win in Spain was a shot in the arm for the sport's elder statesman. After stage 4, he was 5th overall. Out of sight, Richard Burns spun his Subaru, losing 12 seconds. Last year's winner was relieved to be as high as 4th. Less than a kilometre into stage 3, François Delacour clipped the inside of a hairpin. After stage 4, Colin McRae had a massive 39-second gap to Carlos Sainz, but the charge was not without risk. But McRae knew that without a win here, his title hopes were all but over.
And 6 right.
Rovanperä looked on course for a podium place when his car slowed. The problem was broken suspension, and then he drowned in a water splash.
Ei saatana oo totta.
Stage 7 caught out another driver, this time Freddie Loix in a roll so slow it almost looked like an action replay. But the spectators put the car back on its wheels and Loix back into the fray. Richard Burns clawed back a few seconds to McRae in the final few kilometres of the day, setting up a potential battle of the Brits on days 2 and 3. McRae, though, was confident that a 41-second lead would be enough of a cushion. But on the last stage of the day, Colin's brother Alistair found his Hyundai filling with smoke. Trained for such an incident, McRae turned firefighter.
Colpo tierra! Colpo tierra!
This isn't the first rally you've led this year. As you know all too well, it can be a tough event. 3 days, make up a rally, 2 still to go.
Yeah, especially here, Argentina is one of the toughest, and there's a lot of rocks and places to catch you out, so we'll just try and keep it going.
As football fans gather behind a goal, Argentine rally fans group around the water splashes. First into the natural amphitheatre, Colin McRae, the leader.
Takes the slow 3, opens. 30, 6 left minus line. 30, 6 crest and right tightens to 5 minus.
Burns knew he had to attack from the first corner of the first stage on day 2.
Tightens long. 50.
Sapped of energy by his back pain, Sainz still put up a good fight. His third place appeared safe.
2, easy plus on crest.
As if Alistair McRae had not seen enough smoke on day 1, there was a much more serious blaze on stage 11. A brush fire had engulfed more than 20 spectator cars. Firefighters sped to the scene, including this water tanker. Caught by an amateur cameraman, the truck loses control in the middle of a surface area, clips a Skoda team official and crashes into the 2 Skoda rally cars. With both cars damaged and the team shaken, Skoda pulled out of the rally. With Richard Burns breathing down his neck, Colin McRae had no time for emotion, but he towed the line to perfection, setting fastest time on stage 12. Burns had tried every trick in the book to try and catch Colin McRae, but he couldn't put more than a minor dent in McRae's armour. Hanging on to the coattails of cars 4 and 5, Carlos Sainz. Petter Solberg was in the wars when his water bottle got jammed under his pedals. And then he lost 2 gears.
180. Early flat by right.
It took, I think, a few seconds in the last one, but we backed off a bit. It was quite rutted and rough, so I just didn't want to take any chances.
I think we have to rely on maybe a mistake from Colin or a problem with their car rather than being able to outpace them over tomorrow.
The final day, and McRae only knew parts of the first stage. His lack of knowledge cost him valuable seconds. Burns didn't look like a man with a mountain to climb, laid back. Sipping at his water supply, he really looked like a Sunday morning driver. But Burns' speed was anything but geriatric. The gap now, 21.8 seconds. The game was still wide open. No drastic need to hurry for Carlos Sainz. Third looked safe, and so far his Ford had run like clockwork. The biggest prize on offer behind Sainz was the fight for 4th. Petter Solberg started the day with it in his grasp, but then lost it to Mäkinen, who nosedived into the dirt, jolting the Mitsubishi so much it started losing oil and water. Grunholm misjudged a fast left-hander, ending up in the bushes. He managed to drive out, but his clutch was destroyed. Peugeot's rally went from bad to worse. Condor 3 times in the last 3 years. This is where Colin McRae ended his South American adventures. But back off he didn't. Even in the closing stages of the rally, there was little the rest of the field could do to match the two Britons. It takes a dedicated fan to stand in freezing temperatures on the top of the world. But Burns couldn't catch McRae. 11 months since his last victory, the Flying Scotsman was a winner again.
Okay. Spot on. Well done.
Second for Burns meant both Brits were now in the title race.
The rally itself, the rally I enjoy, and it's never been that kind to us in the past, but to win this year is a bit extra special, obviously because of the run we've had before now, so hopefully that's it, all back on track.
Not 10 points, but it still puts your season back on track.
Yeah, it does. If you look at how many points we can get, or we need to be able to be in with a chance of winning the championship, then it's exactly what we needed.
So McRae the winner, Burns the runner-up, and behind Sainz, Mäkinen fourth. Mäkinen now had a 5-point lead ahead of Sainz in the Drivers' Championship, but into the fray come McRae and Burns. Mitsubishi leading from Ford and then Peugeot in the Manufacturers' Championship. Round 6 held on the frontier between Europe and the Middle East. The Mediterranean island of Cyprus may be a magnet for tourists, but for the drivers in the World Rally Championship, it was no holiday. Instead, it's one of the roughest, toughest tests in the whole rally calendar. Rally base is Limassol, centre for the network of body-breaking roads run in 60-degree temperatures. Leaving the beaches behind, the cars headed for the hills. Tommy Mäkinen was first off the line.
Sitten oikein nopea.
Cyprus is not the place to throw away time. Stalling his Ford Focus costs Carlos Sainz almost 10 seconds. Sidestepping a huge razor-sharp rock thrown up by Mäkinen, Sainz tried to make up time. Calm, if not cool, in the Ford Focus, Colin McRae, and